introduce my most favorite roommate of my whole life, Lydia Eato Harris, a 2012 fellow in young adult fiction.
This is a section from my young adult novel called The Meaning of Butterflies. This chapter is called Nani's Memory. Grandpa Moon did not like my father at all. I didn't know this until I was 7. We were in Maine for Thanksgiving. I loved Grandma Moon's house. Unlike ours, it was full of fluffy and comfy things. The kitchen and dining room, huge in my eyes. The living room had a big stone fireplace, a fire always blazing behind a black iron gate. On holidays, sweet, tart, and meaty smells from Grandma's kitchen would drift through the air like the fragrance of flowers carried on spring breezes. Daddy was outside that morning splitting firewood. It had snowed the night before, so we were dressed in our warmest clothes. Daddy let me stack the pieces of split wood. I loved watching my father lift the axe over his shoulder, above his head, and then bring it down, the wood sending a loud crack echoing through the trees surrounding Grandpa's property. Grandpa came outside and bundled in his worn, heavy brown winter coat, workman gloves on his hands. "Sure you ain't tired yet?" said Grandpa in his thick accent. "I know you soft, educated boys ain't used to real labor." Daddy motioned for me to pick up the split pieces. "No, sir, I'm just fine." As I placed the piece on the stack, I said, "Don't worry, Grandpa. Daddy's strong." Grandpa made a harumping sound. "Well, I know you people ain't used to. Liam Moon, get in here and help me with this table," Grandma shouted. I didn't think about the phrase, "you people," until much later. Grandma had a bowl made out of the stump of a pine tree. Every holiday, she filled it with nuts and placed the tall wooden painted soldier nutcracker next to it. I would sit at Grandpa's feet as we selected nuts. I could put them in the soldier's big square jaw. Dad was on the sofa reading, and soft music played from the radio. "What's this nut?" I asked. "Well, naughty girl, the proper name is Brazil nut, but look at it closely. See the dark color, rippled coating, and the curved shape? Don't they remind you of something you've seen?" The air started to move around me, but I didn't know why. Grandpa was no longer looking at me, but at Dad. "Most people," Grandpa continued, "call them nigger toes. Now, you've seen Liam Moon." Mom and Dad and Grandma screamed or yelled or shouted something. When I turned to look, Dad had his coat and was disappearing through the front door. All I knew was my daddy was gone and I needed to find him. I heard Mom call my name as I bolted out the front door after my father. Dad stood silently, looking at the splitting stump, the axe in his hand. "Daddy?" When he didn't look at me, I raised my voice and stomped my foot. "Daddy!" Dad's head jerked up. He put the axe down and ran to me, scooping me up in his arms. "Nani, you shouldn't be out here without your coat and boots." "I had to find you, Daddy." I buried my face into the scratchiness of his coat and then straightened up, running my hands over his bristly cheeks. "'Cause I know, kids at school call me that word too, and I know it's bad. But mainly it's only the big kids who use it. But Daddy, it's okay, because if you're a nigger, then I am too, because I'm just like you. And it'll be okay, even if it is a bad word." He and I waited in the car while Mom collected up our stuff. We had dinner in a restaurant where we laughed and talked with other people who weren't home for Thanksgiving. Dad never entered Grandma and Grandpa Moon's house again. I don't know if I ever said I wished Mom was a nigger like us, but I know I felt it.